Yo, yo,
We are
yo, yo,
live.
yo. What up? We're live,
Go ahead.
ready to rock. Welcome,
Yes.
everybody. This is Wrecked Border Sports, and I'm one of your co-hosts, Wrecked Crypto, with my other co-host, Waruna. And hope you guys are having a wonderful evening. Waruna, you got anything to say to people?
Yes, I think already we have Basha in the chat. Amin. So thank you very much, everyone, for
What is
joining
up?
up. So our first ever live show. Excited to be here.
Yep, we're going to talk about everything from around the NFL, essentially just the playoffs. You know what I mean? The teams in the playoffs. We could talk about all the other things like people getting fired later.
Yes. I mean, there are a lot of things to talk about, especially the
Yeah.
head coaches, firings, and who will be up for the vacant spots. But let's start. Let's jump into that. Raiders versus Bengals. Right now, I really like about Bengals. I'm excited about Joe Burrow. I like my quarterback. So this is the one. If I have to take one quarterback, I'm really excited about in this playoff series. That's Joe Burrow, even rather
Really?
than Josh Allen, because I really like the guy. Because last year, if you think about it, Joe Burrow went number one overall. He had some groundbreaking records in college level. But when he came to his first year in NFL, he got injured, did not have the protection, and everyone was talking about Justin Herbert, the number six pick. And it's like, okay, I'm the number one pick, but why do you talk about this guy? And this year, he got what he needed. He had a good receivers and everything, but that team can improve. But I'm really excited about Bengals. So again, I believe this might be the best game in the wild card round. Brian, what do you think?
Well, first, I am shocked and very taken aback. You being an Aaron Rodgers maximalist, loving Aaron Rodgers, and that's that's where you kind of found your love of football. And now you're talking about Joe Burrow. Okay, um, I'm not that sold on him as much as you are, but I do think he's a very good young upstart, and I think he will definitely within the next 5 years be a top 10 quarterback. I feel um, as long as he's healthy, which might not happen and be in where he's playing. But I think, comeback player. Yeah, well, no, Bosa. No,
No,
Bosa's not getting no love. Dak is sold. Everybody's sold on Dak being the thing. He already won it before the season started. But
but I would go with Amin on this because the impact Joe Burrow made this year, what he can do, we saw that he is not afraid to throw the ball deep. He can do it because you just need to, I would say, bring some two, three gadget players pieces around him to protect him and give him some kind of weapon or two and improve the run game a bit more. Then this team can be a contender for another next to 5 to 10 years. I think this might be the real quarterback that Bengals have to be a franchise that they can run NFC North for
so
foreseeable future.
to improve that run game, they've got to do something with the offensive line first. That's
That will happen. That will eventually
what up,
happen. But
baller?
here, Eric. So
They
what I'm
they've got
saying is, agreeing to, I mean, because what Joe Burrow did this year, it already justifies why he should be the comeback player of the year. So that's why I would vote him.
all right. Well, I like I said, I don't feel that much about that. I think he's very talented, and I think he's got the best chance out of both quarterbacks to win this game. That doesn't mean that he's going to win. I think that as the quarterback standings go, I think he's got better weapons, and I think his offense is grooving more together. They're functioning way better and a higher rate than the Raiders. But who knows? Who knows who shows up? Bengals can still do Bengals things.
So I want to ask him the other thing, Ryan, because I believe this game might be the best one out of 6 games in the wild card round. Because here's the reason.
No.
Okay, hear me out. Raiders, they won 10 games, having so many things going against their way. John Gruden thing, the head coach getting fired, then Henry Ruggs, and there were some other players having problems with off-field stuff. Everything was going around. People were trashing Derek Carr. They were saying, "Oh, here's Derek Carr," and whatnot. But still, they played some amazing games, some nail biters. Going into the overtime, they did beat Ravens during the overtime. They did beat Chargers to get into the playoffs because they didn't get by luck. They did beat Chargers to get over here. So that team, I believe, has some chip on their shoulder. They want to prove something out there because it was been a crappy year for them in terms of luck and everything that turned out to be. So that's why I believe you have Bengals on the other side that who
The
want to prove
Bengals
themselves.
it's a French franchise with a chip on your shoulder. You're talking about the Raiders have got the team has a chip on the Bengals, the whole organization. There's millions of years of anxiety from sucking and losing that is there.
I mean, you can't really say that in a sense because Bengals in last 20 years, they have made 2 playoffs, including this year, 21 years, 8 times versus 49ers 7 times. So yes, they don't have Super Bowl trophies under their name, but I'm not saying
Exactly.
that. So, but still, what I'm saying is that game, both the teams have something to prove. Both the teams are coming with some energy, with whatever happened through
Most
the
definitely
season.
they're
So,
coming with energy. Yeah. Oh yeah.
so
I
that's why I'm saying that
I
this
have it.
game might be the best game of this wild card round.
It could be. It has a potential to be, but I have it ranked number 3.
Okay, okay. So then we talked about this game. Let's move on to our other game. Patriots versus Bills. This is going to be another classic, I would say.
I've
Now,
got this
during the
ranked too.
regular season, the first game it was won by Patriots. The weather was weird. Next game, Bills won the game, and then they never stopped. They clinched the division. Now, tomorrow's game, there is a high chance weather might be terrible. So, do you think, Ryan, given the weather conditions, that Patriots have that advantage? Because Patriots, more it gets windier, colder, Patriots play the better version of the football. So,
Well,
what do you think?
just looking at the way the teams are, you know what I mean, the styles of the offense and the defense, you know what I mean. What are the Patriots? They're built to do on defense: hit you, smash, physical, right? That doesn't play well when you're not throwing the ball very far. Okay, then you've got on the offense. What are they doing? Dink a dunk little passes with Mac Jones, you know what I mean, and then running the ball. And that plays. What are the Bills trying to do? They're trying to throw it down the field to fast people that might not have sure footing. You know what I mean? So it plays more into their favor, yes, but that doesn't mean that the Bills have no chance at all. You know what I mean? But I do think that this 6th seed has way more chance of beating this 3rd seed than a lot of other 6th versus 3rd seeds ever before in history. You know what I mean? Not to say that it's the best one, but I mean, like, this Patriots team is no joke, and to be sitting at the 6th seed, you know what I mean, and not being at like a 2nd or a 3rd seed is kind of a little bit crazy, but it is what it is. I mean, also, like, look at, it doesn't seem like the Bills had a great start, right? They kind of slumped, and then they came back a little strong. I think the Patriots, who have been it's kind of a rebuilding, like a half rebuild type of a year. You know what I mean? They're like, one of their best receivers is a guy they got off of the 49ers last year. You know what I mean? From last year. So like, that's one of their most crucial weapons. So I mean, it's offense is halfway a rebuild, and the defense is strung together. I don't know how. They're a bunch of top tier no names. There are some people on that team, don't get me wrong, but you've got a whole bunch of people who I don't really follow, you know what I mean, and don't know their names, who are playing outstanding defense. And I should know their names.
Yes. So, but in terms of my idea about this game is that if weather stays true, I mean, if weather does not deteriorate too much, Bills have the chance, because Bills has a good defense too, because right now they have allowed the least number of points per game, least number of yards per game. So defensively they can do well. And you have Mac Jones, who is playing his first playoff game as a rookie. So this season, Jones had some amazing games, as well as we saw apart from the last game, we saw some of his deficiencies, that sometimes they are where he the speed of NFL got caught up to him. So that's why I think Josh Allen, the quarterback, gives the chance for Bills, let's say, a massive chance to come up and get this win and probably move into the next round.
This this is another one of them coin flippers. You know what I mean? This could definitely, just like the Bengals Raiders. I mean, like the wind blows the wrong way in the right kick, and the ending of the game changes. You know what I'm saying? This is what could happen. So this is one game I definitely want to watch.
True. Yes, you don't want to miss this. So in this game, let me ask you: do you think this will be a high-scoring game or low-scoring game where both the defenses battling out, like the first game during the regular season when Bills met Patriots, or this is going to be just a shootout where Allen and Mac Jones going back and forth?
So Amin here, he says 40 points. I think it could be around there, but I think it's going to be a little over. You know what I mean? Like the combined could be a little bit over, by like maybe 3 points. You know what I mean? It's, well, around there. It's if the weather's bad, I see a lot of running, and if they're going to run a lot, they're not going to score as fast and as quick. You know what I mean? So, and they're a lot of times going to come off the ball. But, so you've got essentially, if they both score 3 touchdowns, you know what I mean, through the course of 4 quarters, it's 22 points. Or that's 44 points. So
yes,
he could be totally right. He could be totally right, or he could just be wrong by just a little. So
okay. I'll ask one last question regarding this topic, Ryan. Now,
42 points. Sorry, it was 42 points.
Okay, so if Patriots does not make past wildcard round, will there be a backslash on Bill Belichick as a coach? Because
not at all.
Why?
Because he's there in the first place.
Yes, but now Tom Brady, he's there in the playoffs again, ready to have a Super Bowl run. Now, will people say, okay, look, when Brady is there, Belichick won 6 Super Bowls. Once Brady is out, he can't do that. Because remember, Brady won his first Super Bowl in his second year. Actually, it was his first year as the starter in 2001.
First year as a starter, but not his first year in the league.
True. So
True.
just ask him whether
But he was
can be a
behind Drew
backslash.
Bledsoe. He was behind Drew Bledsoe until that happened. So you can't really say, hey, Tom couldn't have done it because we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But to say that Mac Jones got them to the playoffs, you know what I mean? And he's actually it's not like they've had a run game like, the 49ers have that could prop people up. You know what I mean? And you can lean on when you need to. They don't have that. He's forced to make plays. He's forced to do things on third and long. You know what I mean? There's third and longs because they're not necessarily, getting very big chunk plays. And if there's a incomplete pass, well, that takes one of those little chunk plays out of the thing. So you're probably going on third and long then. So, yeah, I think he won't be ridiculed. You can't keep quarterback forever. Tom wanted to move. It is what it is. He's lucky he had the time that he did with him. Just to show that 2 years removed, he could be back in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, I think just speaks more to his talent.
True. Okay. So let's move on to our next topic. So, I mean, you literally laughed at this, but I would not. Because here's the thing. Last year,
there's things that could actually happen.
Yes, last year Washington football team, led by Tyler Heineke, gave a kind of a scare to the Buccaneers. They played a good game. They didn't have the muscle to push through Buccaneers because they were the best. I mean, they were, of course, the better team on the day. But I believe you have a quarterback capable of making plays. Jalen Hurts is going to be their franchise quarterback probably in another 5 to 6 years, depending on the injuries and whatnot. So I wouldn't take this game lightly. I'm not ready to just give the game on a platter to the Tampa Bay just because Eagles are their opposition.
So things can happen. The Bucs can lose this game. I just don't think it's likely. The Eagles have kind of been on a little run, but it's not like they are dominating and forcefully, they're not molly-whopping people. They're winning. You know what I mean? The Buccaneers are hurt. They're limping a little. So yeah, the Eagles could swoop in there. And take him out. But I don't think that's going to happen. You're talking about Tom Brady at the helm. You've got some banged up wide receivers, but I mean, if he's got somebody to throw to, he'll figure out something. And he's like a coach out on the field, right? So give him somebody to run a route and he'll figure out what their best route is and he'll put them in a position to get them open. But I'm sure the coaches will do that for him. But yeah, I don't think I feel bad for Big Bay Slay. I know he's not in the chat right now, but if he hears this, I'm sorry, Bay, but I don't think he got a chance. I'm glad you're in the playoffs, though. We talked about this on Twitter the other day. I said, hey, maybe next year you'll be in the playoffs. He's like, we are in the playoffs. And I was like, yeah, not really, though.
I also get what Beria Bola is saying.
I would be too, Baller.
It would be a shock. It would be a shock. But one thing I would say about this season in general is that compared to last season, 2020 or 2019, this is one of the most closely contested football seasons, I think, for a long time, if we go back. That's why this year we had some results that we never even thought of happening, like Lions beating Cardinals. That happened. Even last week, Seahawks did beat Cardinals. So there were some crazy things going here and there. So I think the gap, the bridge between teams were much less. That end of the day, that's why we always it was hard to predict what would be the result. So that's why I'm just having some kind of a, I wouldn't say hope, but some kind of idea saying that crazy things can happen given the situation this football season, how closely contested it was.
Well, if Tom Brady gets rolled up, you know what I mean, and you bring in the backup, things have just dramatically changed. You know what I mean? So yeah, things can happen, but I mean, it's got to be like, what do they call that when you enter into a contract and they've got an act of God clause. You know what I mean? Where you can, where if a tornado comes and just takes out your house, you know what I mean? That nobody else's. It's just one thing is freak accident. Not that this will work, but they've got an act of God clause. So
Okay, so let's move on to this one. I think this is pretty easy. I mean, Big Ben even said there is no match. He literally said that. I mean, on his own words, he said uh, the matchup is kind of really difficult. We don't have a chance. Usually, you don't see, especially in football. Even number 32 is team is playing with number one team. They don't say stuff like that. But I think he is at a point in his career he has achieved. I mean, he has achieved a lot. He has won Super Bowls. He's going to be a Hall of Famer probably in future, and he probably figure it out. Okay, I'm not going to just pretend like we are going to kick Chiefs ass. No, not going to be that kind of a game. But do you think any chance that Steelers can at least give some scare to the Chiefs, at least make a game out of it?
yeah. So if the Chiefs have an off day like they did for the first quarter of the season, totally, this could be a close game, because you got to think everybody on that Steelers team knows it's Big Ben's last year. Okay. So not only is it Big Ben's last year, but this could be Big Ben's last game. And if you really appreciate somebody, like, look at the Texans. Texans, they were winning, for their head coach, and he got fired, but they were doing everything. Everybody expected them to be a defeated team this year. No, they weren't. I think it was 15% of their cap sitting on the sidelines, and they still were able to contribute. Look at what happened with the Raiders, like you're saying, the Raiders. But you're talking about this Big Ben. I mean, he's iconic, you know what I mean, to that team. You know what I mean? He's the second biggest name on that team besides the coach, Mike Tomlin. Yeah, I think people are going to want to go out and win for him. So it could be. Do I think it's? I'd say there's a 15% chance of it happening.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put any money on it unless the spread was in the area where I thought that I might be able to win. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why I'd bet on the Steelers. If I had enough confidence, but I don't.
Yeah. Again, only thing I think about this game is that Chiefs having to play that first round wild card game. It's a disadvantage for them because last year they had the first week bye. I think year before also they had that first week bye when they won the Super Bowl. So, as you said, Steelers will not coming into this game thinking, okay, Chiefs are going to just roll over us, so why won't just let them do it? No, they are going to make tackles. They are going to play hard football. So that there might be a chance that some injuries can happen. So that's if I'm a Chiefs fan, that's my only worry. Not about whether we can win the game or not, but the in terms of players' health and injuries, whether there will be some unfortunate events happening. Because last year, if you remember, during playoffs, Mahomes got injured. He got a concussion. Then their backup had to play Chad Pennington. It was, sorry, I can't remember the name, who played as the backup. So that's the only worry if I'm a Chiefs fan, because this is kind of an unnecessary matchup. But given the situation with seven
Well,
team format,
you
you
also
have to
got to
play
think
this.
Mike Tomlin's been around in the league a while, and he's played Andy Reid many times. So he might have come up in the off season or something, like a strategy to negate their offense, to stifle their offense. And that might be enough to give his offense a chance to win the game. You know what I mean? So we don't know. You know what I mean? Every once in a while you get like oh wow, somebody just, killed a Titan. And it was because somebody, in the off season did their due diligence, like like the Seahawks with their cover 3D. You know what I mean? Everybody, was, couldn't do anything against it. And then finally somebody broke the code and everybody shared their notes, and boom, it wasn't a thing anymore. So who knows?
Yes, yes, we will be definitely shocked, as
Yes.
Amin
Yes.
says, if they win. Yeah, my worry about this game is not Steelers winning, but Chiefs players getting injured, unnecessary injuries, having to play this game. But
The same
we
thing with the
never know.
Buccaneers game. Same thing with the
Exactly.
Buccaneers game.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Imagine them losing everybody who limped back into the game this week. You know what I mean? For the rest of the playoffs. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
hey, if you can't get through the playoffs, then you don't deserve to play in the Super Bowl. I don't care who your quarterback is.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's where this bye week is doing wonders for Packers, because they will probably get David Bakhtiari back, Jarius Leonard.
Now
He will be
think about
back most
this.
probably.
Giving Bakhtiari back, is that necessarily a good thing? He spent a lot of time out this season, right? And then, like you've got this other guy who's been filling in for him the whole time, who's in a groove and this and that, and you got a guy come back who'll be rusty. You know what I mean? Like he's like the second best left tackle in the game. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like there's things that can happen when you bring back your pro who has been hurt for a while. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah,
take out the guy.
I
Go
would
ahead.
kind of, I wouldn't say disagree, but I would look at it in a different way, right? Because here's the thing. Now, let's say Trent Williams. Now, if even if he do not practice for a long period of time, he can still come up and have a good game, because he's a solid player. He's a Pro Bowl level player. He's one of the best players in the game. So that's what I think about David Bakhtiari as well. Even if you uh, ask him to come play a game, maybe after missing some serious time, he has enough talent to do that. He's a player of that caliber. So I think what you said about other players filling for David Bakhtiari as left tackle, it's to more to do with not the players who played that position, but it was due to the fact that Aaron Rodgers, how he adjusted to the situation. Because Rodgers, if you remember the 49er game in week 3, Rodgers really adjusted, because he was getting rid of the football in like less than sometimes 2 seconds, because he
They
didn't give a chance to 49er fast rush. So I
no,
think that's
because
why
he
I
knew.
think if Bakhtiari comes back, he will give Rogers a more chance, and that's deadly. The more chance that you give to Aaron Rodgers, it's not going to be
No,
fun for the other team.
that's an understatement. You know what I mean? That's an understatement, because that man can do a lot when he's got time,
Yes,
especially when he's got a receiver like Adams. You know what I mean? That guy
yes,
is amazing. Like you almost got to triple team that guy, and he still might be able to. Like you got to Velcro a guy to his back. All right, That's what you got to do before the game. Put some
Yes.
Velcro strips on his back, on his jersey, and put the other side on one of your guys' jersey. And when he goes, you just run and jump on him. And then you got your arms to dangle up top. Let him carry your weight. That's,
Yes. I
yeah.
think that's one of my favorite quotes from Stephen Smith is that he always says that Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. I really love that statement because that's a bad man. He can hurt you literally. He can emotionally break you for the rest of your life uh, with a football game. He's that kind of a quarterback. So I mean, likes your glasses.
Yes, I heard they're like the Terminator.
Yes. Okay.
Which one?
Okay.
No, which Terminator. There's a lot of different versions. When the second version, the second Terminator came out, and the guy, he could go all liquid and stuff, and he put his arms through the thing. Man, that freaked me out as a kid. I was like, oh, if they have those things in real life, we're screwed. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the divisional rivals, Rams versus Cardinals. Cardinals, I feel for them because that team, the same thing happened last year to them. They started well. During the latter part of the season, they just fell off. This season, it was much crazier because they started 7-0, then they went 7-1, 10-2, and finally end up being 11-6. That's just crazy. Now people trash talking Cliff Kingsbury. They are saying Kyler Murray cannot stay healthy. It's that team just depend on DeAndre Hopkins, but I don't agree because that team without Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and basically with a backup quarterback, they were able to beat a healthy 49er team. But I'm just trying to understand what's wrong with them. That latter part of the season, what's going wrong for that team, right?
Well, when you don't have D Hop, there's those quick outs. He's so smart. He knows exactly where to go right off the ball. He knows the defense is all ready as he lines up. You know what I mean? So that puts a little more responsibility on Kyler's shoulders. Now he's got to deal with other people who might not be as as much of a asset to him. And then I really think he got a shit O-line. I also think his coach is bad at calling plays at times. Like he'll use a trick play in like a situation for like a trick play in a useless situation. You know what I mean? 49ers the last week they used a trick play after they had ran the ball like 8 or 9 times, I believe it was, maybe it was 10. And then the first throw they call is a play that looks like a run until it's not, and then it's a throw.
Yes.
So like to me that's a great time to use it. Or like when you're first and 10, first snap of the game, you want to make a point, you go deep down the field, or you do a trick. I like that. You know what I mean? End of the half, maybe not at the last play, but second, third to last play to get a chunk play down the field so you can maybe, take a shot to the end zone, maybe 2 shots to the end zone, 1 to a field goal. You know what I mean? That's type of stuff. But like, he does some of the dumb things I bag on Kyle for doing sometimes, like the 3rd and longs, and you do like a little short throw to somebody. It's like, no, like get the first down, at least attempt to get the first down. You know what I mean? Something towards the sidelines. If you're not confident, you don't want to turn over the ball with a risky throw. You know what I mean? Give us something where the quarterback can aim to a certain way to where it's to the receiver, no one can get it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But they don't. Seems like he just doesn't call those plays in those situations. And I do like their special teams though.
True. So let's look at the other team in this scenario, Rams. Now, when the season started, Ryan, I thought Rams probably going to the Super Bowl or at least make it to the NFC Championship game, because they played that way during the first half of the season. They played that way. They were really good. Matthew Stafford played lights out. He was throwing to Cooper Cup. I mean, these 50-yard bombs. I can't remember which game was that. Probably Sunday Night Football game. He threw like first one 67 yards or something, another one 55 yards or something. He was just playing fantastically well. But after that, again, coming into the business end of the season, we see the bad side of Matthew Stafford, where he can play horribly. I mean, he can have okay game, but even against the 49ers, he did okay, but it's not the best of performance, because ideally, a quarterback like Matthew Stafford, he should be in his best shape, best form at this point of the time,
Yes.
heading into the playoffs.
Yes, he should be
Does
in a
that
very
worry
good
you?
group. No, because I'm not a LA Rams fan.
True, but
So
I asked the question, Ryan,
I got
in
you.
regard of being a neutral fan base. I really
No,
like what Rams did. In
so
that consent, are you worried about Rams not reaching to the full potential that they can?
I don't think they can. Um, they might make it to the championship game, the NFC Championship, but I don't think they're Super Bowl bound. Um, like the last throw, his interception in the 49ers game. Like, he was so overly confident that he was going to get that, and then he threw a shit throw, and it was
Yeah,
underthrown,
it was underthrown. It was severely
like
underthrown.
crazily yeah, severely, and like he didn't even wait for anybody to be open either. You know what I mean? To me, it didn't seem like he was, open enough to really warrant throwing that ball, especially anything underthrown like that. You know what I mean? So I think it shows his decision that I guess, he thinks, oh, well, we've been doing this all game, so we can just do it again. Maybe we'll come up with a penalty. And then, maybe he tried to, do one of them. We'll throw an underthrown ball, and then the receiver will come back to it through the defensive man, and we'll get a pass interference penalty. If that was the case, and you're banking your second seed on that, well, Rams made a horrible decision trading for him. So glad the 49ers had missed out if that's the case. But he can carve people up. He can make really, really good throws at times. You know what I mean? When he needs to. And that's the thing. So for the Cards are almost built I'd say the second best in the league to match up against the Rams, or the Rams offense like that with their defense, but defensive line. But I don't think they're really the Cards are going to be able to pull it out. I think.
So you are picking Rams. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's even what I thought. I would pick Rams too.
I think there's more talent on the Rams as far as the team goes, especially with who's playing. But when it comes down to it, it's the coaching that's really tipping the scales for me. People say Cliff Kingsbury's horrible. I can't tell you no. I can't tell you no. I've said that a couple of times, but just to be totally, he's not the worst coach. You know what I'm saying? But do I think he doesn't have many qualities that Bill Belichick has? Let's just say that, or Andy Reid, or
I think it's a long way for him to go, but
yeah,
where I see it, Cliff Kingsbury, he's 41 years old. I think 41 or 42. He's just like few months older than Kyle Shanahan. So that's why I give Kingsbury time, because I feel like he might be learning year by year, because he has a kind of a quarterback that is made for chaotic situations, because Kyler Murray is not just a regular quarterback. You need
You
to
can't do the let Russ cook. You can't do the let
Yes.
Russ cook thing. Okay, it's not going to work. They need to
Yes.
provide a good offensive line for Kyler Murray to work with. Okay, not to run from the protection, but to stay behind the protection when need be. You know what I mean? Which I also think he has to drop back far to be able to see down the field well. That's another thing, because if anybody gets back there and sacks him, you're losing a lot more yards. And then to get back to the line of scrimmage, you've got a further way to go. So like if you have a bad line and do all that type of stuff, then he's gonna, you're just causing yourself to have more issues when you get sacked. I
think
don't.
that's a very interesting discussion. Maybe something we should do off season, because if you think about it, what Kyle Shanahan forced Trey Lance to do during the off season, during the preseason games, Shanahan forced Trey Lance to play from the pocket. Shanahan wanted Trey Lance to learn the traits of being a pocket quarterback, versus Cliff Kingsbury still tries to build his offense, his tactics around Kyler Murray's strengths. He's just like, okay, Kyler, I'm not asking you to do anything the way I want. Tell me what you like to do, and I will adjust myself. Usually, I think in NFL, coaches like to do it other way, because I have seen who is the coach, Dallas Cowboys coach who got fired before Mike McCarthy. Now he was the offensive coordinator of Giants. Jason Garrett, right? So Jason Garrett, one of the things during this All or Nothing TV series, he says that build the team that you want to coach, not coach the team. Basically, he's first trying to get the pieces around that he wants and that fits his model. Then he's going to develop on that. So I think that's the difference. I think that would be a lengthy discussion for off season, where how these two head coaches handling their quarterbacks, young quarterbacks. I think it would be a really interesting discussion in coming weeks.
I think it's okay with like just signing things around what people are their star, but
okay. While Ryan sneezes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I don't mind building a team around, or building a scheme around their strengths, but the thing is when their strengths is off scheduled plays, you know what I mean? It's hard to build a team around that and to build a scheme around that, except for, foul house and like fire drills, essentially, you know what I mean? Where you break everything and you just kind of, try and find a spot. But then you have put this, when I don't want to say be mean with this, but I don't think Kyler Murray is as smart as Russell Wilson. You know what I mean?
True. Understood.
As far as football IQ, I do think that Kyler can survey the field well, but maybe not as well as Russell. But I mean, he can survey the field well and he can make all right decisions. But I think I don't know if he could be that good, because
I mean,
Russell was very good very early on in his career with those types of plays. You know what I mean? Very good, very well. And Kyler has been moderate, and he's stayed moderate.
Yes. I mean, the thing is, if you think about it, Russell Wilson, let's just focus on NFC West. If you think about NFC West, Russell Wilson is the best player in NFC West. Not just as the quarterback, he is the most valuable player in NFC West because he's that good. I think there is no argument between when it comes to Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is miles ahead, I would say. He's class apart from Kyler Murray, so no arguments over there.
If you put Russell Wilson in at starting quarterback for the Niners,
wow,
it would be totally unfair.
Exactly, it would
It
be
would be, especially like imagine a young Russell Wilson with those the legs and stuff. He made
Yes.
some of the fastest
The
defensive ends look
2013-14
stupid.
Russell
Oh my
Wilson.
god, like stop on a dime and change directions 3 times, and your people's cleats are coming off. That yeah, it's he was a bad man
Yes.
back in the day.
Yes.
Since he plays for the Seahawks still, I'm glad he's slowed down a little bit and people are able to catch him now, because back in the day, man, it was like don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear, because once you get him out of the pocket, I mean, it's all over. He's down the field. It's like no, just slowly closing. No gaps. Don't let him out the back door either. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. I mean, he's of course a legend who made a name for himself. So let's move on to the last topic of the day. What would be the best game of the week? I skipped out 49ers game, 49 Cowboys game, because we are going to talk about it tomorrow with our guest.
8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Yes. So, but about this, what would be the best game of the week? So I'll pick the game of the week. As I said, it would be Raiders versus Bengals, probably going to the overtime. That's my pick.
Okay, I can see the overtime. Yeah, I can see that. The reason why I don't think that's going to be such of a good game is because I think there's going to be more slop in it than some of the other games. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be gritty, but I think there's going to be, like, I know you're not the big baseball fans, but in baseball, they've got a stat category. You got hits, runs, and errors, right? So when somebody makes an error, they put a little stat up there for it. I feel there's going to be some errors in this game, okay, and more so than other ones. Like I said, I had the Bills at 2, the Bills and Pats at 2. I think that's going to be a knockout, drag-out fight. These teams hate each other. Both these fan bases are, well, I don't know if the Bills and the Patriots really hate each other, but they play each other a lot. And the Patriots are used to winning, and the Bills want to win. You know what I mean? For the most part, because they've, been losing for a very long time. So you've got two teams, and, the fan base is really passionate. I mean, those massholes, they're up there, and, they could give a fuck what you want to say about their team. You know what I mean? They're going to love them till they die. But then you've got the Bills Mafia, which they're probably the most loyal people out there, and a little bit crazy in a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
The guy with the mustard and the ketchup every day, every game. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that takes some devotion. Like, I'm a person who would do a lot of crazy stuff and wouldn't care what people, thought of me for doing something. So but I just having those condiments sprayed on me, I just probably like, nah, not worth it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, give me the ice bucket. I'd rather do the ice bucket. So, but I think, and this is even as not a Niners fan, just with the history and like how the two teams are built, I think this might be the best game of the week, depending on who shows up, because the Niners with their run offense and the Dallas Cowboys with their run defense. You know what I mean? The Niners got the upper hand supposedly on that. Who knows? Somebody could come in with a good defensive scheme. Dallas supposedly put the pads on Tuesday. You're gonna need them, boys. They put them on. You know what I mean? Maybe they're going to be ready for the physicality of this game. Okay, and then you've got the Niners, weak secondary. Well, the cornerback position, the weak corners, with a very talented wide receiver core and a very talented quarterback for Dallas. So things can happen. And then you've got the rivalry. You've got I would say two of the most historic NFL franchises. You know what I mean? Two of definitely the top 5 of the most historic franchises are playing, and it's a rivalry, and it's a really big rivalry. Like, I haven't really cared too much about worrying about hating the Cowboys in the last 5 years. I just give people some trash. But the moment we were in the playoffs against them, I immediately was like, they gotta die. Like, you know what? I'll take a loss if we break every single one of them. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like, there's something inside me. It's like, if we make it so they don't look the same ever again, I'll take the loss just as long as that happens. And it's got to be all of, like, I don't want Dak can't look as handsome anymore. You know what I mean? Dak can't look as handsome, okay? This is how it's got to be. You know what I mean? Or we got to win. It's one or the others. So Niners, go out there. I just think that's going to be the best game. And I could be proven wrong. Like I said, the Bills game too, though. The Bills-Pats game, that's another one that just could be a smoking crazy game. No, they all got a chance to be one, man. Is this year?
Let me ask finally.
Yeah.
Let's quickly go through. I'll ask your prediction. Winners. Raiders versus Bengals.
Bengals.
Okay. Patriots, Bills.
Patriots.
Eagles, Bucks.
Bucks.
49ers, Cowboys.
Niners.
Steelers, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Rams, Cardinals.
Rams.
Okay.
Now, do you have anything different than me?
I think Raiders, Bengals. I pick Bengals. Patriots versus Bills. I would pick Bills. Eagles, Bucks.
Okay.
Yes, Bucks. 49ers, Cowboys. I would pick Cowboys. Steelers, Chiefs. Rams, Cardinals.
Now, what if the 49ers traded Trey Lance for 3 first-rounders and extended Jimmy G's contract for 10 years for, what was it, $500 million, right? And then do you think that would make them win tomorrow?
I don't know. I would say let's talk about it tomorrow. I'm kind of skeptical. I'm not that confident, I would say.
Okay.
I understand the trash talking, but I'm not that confident that we are going to go out there and give Cowboys a trashing. I'm not sure that's going to happen. That's why I'm just think that Cowboys still have kind of an edge.
So when the opposing team tells their team, we got to put on pads day early, boys, and they didn't start doing that a couple weeks ago, you're not going to be ready. I don't think they're going to be ready. You know what I mean? Like,
I hope if that's the case.
Do you remember?
Wrong. I'm not rooting against the 49ers, but I'm just saying I'm not that confident because there are certain things can go wrong. So just to wrap things up, so what's your best game? Okay, you have to pick one game. What would be the best game of the week?
Told you, right? Yep.
Okay. I'll pick.
Yeah.
Okay, my game is Raiders versus Bengals. So,
yep.
Okay, I think that comes. That's the end of our show. So those are the topics that we wanted to cover today. So we are going to meet everyone again. I think we had a good turn up. Thank you again for Amin, Beria, Bowler, Basha, and everyone who showed up. So anything else, Ryan, before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you like the content, and please leave a comment and let us know what you think. Let us know if you think there needs to be any changes to anything. Creative, or constructive criticism is always welcome. And if you think we suck and you got a clever way to say it, please put that down. We will take all the creative ones and we'll share them on our Twitter.
But at least still, if you can say you suck, that would be sufficient.
I don't want just a you suck. Come on, I want some clever stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. So then have a average night, everyone.
Oh, shout out Pinor. Have an average night. And see you all tomorrow.